Hey, what's up, guys? Another episode of Dave's RC here, coming at you with the black snake scheme on this beautiful twin 80mm A10 Warthog. Let me tell you something, guys. This is a beast of a plane. It is by far the biggest plane I own, and I own the Freewing F14 Tomcat. And the F14 Tomcat is dwarfed by this monstrosity. I'm gonna actually have to back up 10 feet just to be able to show you it in its entirety. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plane. And it is heavy. I'm not joking. With the batteries in this thing, it is heavy. But then I also did a thrust test on it. And this thing puts out some serious, serious thrust. I'm not sure what the specifics are on it, but it puts out some impressive thrust. And that is the stock ESCs and stock motors. I imagine if you really wanted to, with shorter flight times, you could really crank the amps out of this thing, the milliamps out of this thing. I imagine you could do that, but I'm pretty sure that this thing is going to move pretty damn good with the stock setup. I mean, they set these planes up the way they do for a reason. You want to get decent flight times out of them. But overall, super easy build. The decals, they are water slides. Kind of a pain in the ass, but once you get the hang of it, they're pretty darn easy to put on. And then the other ones, they're like this heat type deal, where basically like this black snakes one right here that you put on right here. What it is it's like a piece of tape, and it's got this inside of it, right? And then you put the piece of tape with the black snakes on there. You throw a little bit of heat to it, not too much, because you will damage the foam. Now remember, these are foam planes, so if you apply excessive heat and temperatures for a duration of time, it will actually start to bubble your foam. Not bubble it, but it'll start showing that it's foam, you know what I mean? And as of right now, if you were to look at this, you would not be able to tell that that's foam. You cannot tell that that's foam. No way. But anyways, I went with the black snakes. I just really like that snake look on the front. It's just really, really pretty looking. So what happens, you put a little bit of heat to it, and then you peel it off, and it leaves the name behind. It's actually really cool. Most of these are just like that. There's one down there on the tail right there. There's another, hold on, let me turn the camera here. There's another one right there as well. So super, super pretty plane. 9-blade EDFs. I probably will change those out later to like a 12-blade or an 11-blade, whatever I can get. But it sounds really nice. I mean, surprisingly, out of the box, this thing has some pretty decently balanced props. So I did not notice any particular vibrations or excessive noise when I was doing a rev test on it. But what just amazing how big this plane is. I mean, I really can't even put it into context or contrast of how big it is. It's huge. I mean, it's massive, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab my radio real quick, and I'm gonna show you what I've done with it so far, and we'll do a little crank test here for you, and so that you guys can hear it and get that warthog fever going. So hold on one second, guys. I'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back, and just a quick little thing here. I just want to show you. I want you to hear this thing. To be honest with you, I just want you to hear this thing. I mean, and that's not with the whistles. I don't have the whistles in this thing. It is actually just making that sound. Sick! So sick! Oh my god, man. gives me the chills every time I fire this thing up. All right, so I want to go ahead and I want to show you. I do have dual flaps set in here. These are my partial flaps right here. This is so you're like your flaps 1, and then this is flaps 2. So these would be like your landing flaps. I'd probably go with those for like a takeoff. Maybe not even flaps at all for takeoff. I'm pretty sure this thing will just launch right off the ground once it gets up to speed. So we got that's full settings on the flaps, and then I also have my I've also got my high rates. These are high rates, okay? And then I also set it down. I got it tuned way down for low rates. So yeah, you see those are much lower, much softer, much more reliable, I think. You don't want with a big plane like this. I'm imagining you don't want your sticks to be touchy. You want to have some wiggle room there. You want to be able to. You know, give it a decent amount of stick movement, and the plane's not going to go crazy. So I did turn down the rates. So I have dual rates on here. I got really high rates, and then I've got some more medium rates. But that's all been done with my Tactic 650. I want to give a shout out to Into Tube Deep, because he really has that Tyrannus radio. He really has that thing down, man. He's got that thing down. Now, I've been using this Tactic 650 for a while, and it's just really comfortable. I know all the features that it has. I know the settings. I know how to set it up. It's a really easy radio to work with. And I'm not saying that the Tyrannus is not easy, but it can be confusing at times. And until you really get like it took me a year and a half to get really good with this radio. So I'm imagining in another 8 to 10 months I should have that Tyrannus right down, and I'll start using that Tyrannus for most of my planes. But for now, I've got it hooked up to my Tactic 650. And I think it'll do really well on this radio. This radio has always been really good to me, and it's really comfortable to use. It fits in my hands good. The Tyrannus FR Sky, it's kind of bulky. It's a little bigger. And when you go from something that's comfortable in your hands, this is almost like a PS3 or a PS4 radio remote in your hands. It's just really fits your hands. This Tactic does. The Tyrannus is kind of big. It's a little wider. It's kind of bulky, is what I'm trying to say, and it's taking some time to get used to. But like anything, you're not going to get used to something if you don't use it more. The more you use it, the better off you will be with it. Like me with this Tactic radio. I've flown inverted for the first time on this radio. I did my first barrel roll on this radio. I mean, it's I've flown my first big plane on this radio. I'm getting ready to fly my biggest plane that I've ever flown on this radio. So it's just a radio that I'm really, really comfortable with. I have it tuned out and setting and to my standards. I have, my sticks here. I've tightened up this throttle stick so that when I move the rudder, it doesn't adjust my throttle. I've just done a few things to it to make it even more comfortable in my hands and even more comfortable during flights. But enough of that. This is the A10 Warthog from Freewing. It is by far the biggest A10 on the market, unless you're going to go out and scratch build something. This is definitely the biggest plane I think they have to offer. I don't think that they have anything bigger than this plane. They may have like some kind of Super Sport Cub or something like that, or some type of Timberwolf or something like that. That might be, kind of the same size, or the big Trojan there. I'm not sure if that's bigger than this. I wouldn't know. I don't have one. But this is a huge plane. It dwarfs, like I said before in the video, it does absolutely dwarf the F-14. And if any of you guys out there have an F-14, a Freewing F-14, you know how big that F-14 is. And when you put that F-14 in a side-by-side shot with this A10, it's like, wow, unbelievable. The retracts on this thing are great. It's got a nice compression strut in the front, and then it's got the trailing links in the back. Big 4-inch tires in the back, like a 2 3/4, 3-inch tire in the front. This thing is going to be great for grass. And the other thing that I like about this for grass is that the intakes are on the top. Okay, so when you're on the grass and say for instance you're going to fly the ME262, the Freewing 262, you will suck shit into those intakes because of where they're at. They're right on the grass. If there's any debris on the grass whatsoever, it's going to shoot right through that intake and possibly take off one of your fan blades. And this has got the really nice fan blades in them. It's got like the 12 blade fans in it. This is actually a really nice one. I just got this one set up too. We'll be flying this one later today or tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. This one's all set to go. I could fly this right now. If I took it outside and we went to my flying field, I could fly it right now. The problem is I don't think that my flying field is going to be big enough for this plane. I mean, I can fly the ME262 there, but barely. I mean, it gets out of range quick, and I imagine this one's going to be even quicker. I've yet to fly the F-14 yet, and the reason for that is because I need a minimum of 10 channels, 11 channels for the F-14 if I want to go swept wing, if I want to sweep wing and not have the ailerons moving, same. I need at least 10 or 11 channels. RC Geek got a hold of me and was telling me that, you know, if you want it to fly the way his is flying, you're going to have to get at least 14 or 10 to 11 channels, which means I'll have to buy another 8-channel receiver for the Tyrannus, and I'll have to bind them together to make my radio a 16-channel radio. Now, if all of you guys know out there, if you don't know, the Tyrannus, I think, was like 32, or I think it can actually go up to like 64 channels. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I know you can combine a lot of those receivers together and get them to work simultaneously in the radio. It is a great radio system. The Tyrannus is definitely a great radio system. I love it. I absolutely love the customization. I love the fact that you can get right down in there and tell your servos what exactly you want them to do. It's not a beginner's radio, that's for sure. But for all you beginners out there, if you start on the Tyrannus, you're doing something good, man, because it's going to be the only radio that you learn. Now, me, I started on a Tactic 404, which is just a 4-channel radio. I loved it so much that I moved up to the 650. I was going to move up to the 850, and I was going to be like, yes, I got, a Tactic 850, but I decided not to. I decided to go with the Tyrannus. Maybe I should have gone with the Tactic 850, but that still wouldn't have solved my issue with my F-14. The F-14 needs a whole nother monster to run it and to run all of its features. So this A10 took all 6 channels, no more. This is a 6-channel aircraft. You got rudder, steerable nose gear, which are connected together. You got the ailerons, elevator, flaps, and then you have your landing gear. Yeah, I think that's it. And then your throttle, obviously. But yeah, man, beautiful plane. Absolutely gorgeous. I love how all the LEDs are already pre-hooked up. It's got this little board down in here. I think what you guys I haven't cleaned it up yet, but what you guys will see is that board right there, there's not quite enough spacing in between the pins. So you're actually having to really get in there and squeeze those things in. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but and the positioning of the board where it's at, it's actually back under this lip. So it's kind of hard to get back there and try to push those pins in, especially me. I got big hands. I'm a football player, man. I got huge hands. I used to be a quarterback, and my hands are massive. I think it's like 13 inches from thumb to pinky. Just big hand. I can't get my hands in there, man. I had to have my son do it. So, yeah, I tried using tweezers, not happening. But it's just kind of location. And I think the more you build something and the more you get feedback on it, the more you start changing your concept and ideas a little bit more to make things more friendly for every user, every pilot. So, this is it, guys. I went with the Black Snake scheme. It looks great. It's beautiful. The plane is massive, huge, heavy. Everything that you want to know about it, man. Leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed already, man, please subscribe, man. I mean, I do this for you guys, man. This isn't, I do take pleasure out of putting these planes up and showing you guys these things and sharing my thoughts and opinion with you guys. It really does help if you hit that subscribe button. It helps a lot. I think we're at like 63 subscribers. That's like minute compared to some of the big YouTubers out there. But slow and steady wins the race. That's my theory on everything. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost a darn thing. And don't forget to leave a like on this video, man. Those also help. That helps a ton as well. So I hope you liked the Freewing twin 80mm Warthog from Motion RC, exclusively from Motion RC. Give you guys one last look at this thing. We'll do a panoramic. We'll go around the entire plane here and we'll show you from the other side. It's just what a beautiful aircraft, this really is and how much time and thought went into this thing. You can tell they did their homework on this one. They did a great job. Absolutely stunning. I'm Dave, and this is Dave's RC. Hope you enjoyed it. We're out of here. Later, guys.